How old are you when you became affiliated with your organization?
I have been working with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation since I was 16. I formed my own team at 16, and I've been participating every year since. It's been 7 years. I'm now 23, and I don't plan to stop anytime soon.
How are you currently associated with your organization?
My current involvement with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is primarily the annual Great Strides Walk. My team, Bush's Team Breathe, we walk every year since 2005 at the Jenkinson's Beach, Point Pleasant Walkathon. And it's been great, and I don't plan to stop anytime soon.
What have you done so far with the organization?
What I have done personally for the organization is primarily the Great Strides Walkathon in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. I generally raise about $1,000 to $3,000 a year for Bush's Team Breathe. Overall, I know one year we raised $290,000 as a whole, everyone that walked in that location. But each team goes out and fundraises, and then you all show up at the walkathon and walk and run around screaming "Cure CF" and scare bystanders who are like, what's going on? Why are all these people on our boardwalk? And then we go back and have a little party. And that is what I do with CF every May. Come join us.
What do you want to achieve with the organization?
What I want to achieve with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is a cure. Now, I'm not going to be the one in the lab coats with the goggles and the little, I don't even know what they're called, but, I'm not going to be the one sitting there going, we got it, we found the cure. Me and thousands like me will be the ones out on the street handing out pamphlets saying, here, this is what CF is, this needs a cure. As comedian Jack Black would say, CF sucks, we need a cure now, and we need it yesterday. He rocks, by the way. But yeah, my hope is that we accomplish a cure. I want to live to see the day where, the news headline says CF equals cure found, CF equals cured forever, and that would pretty much make my life complete.
What has been accomplished so far?
What has been accomplished so far? This has got to be my favorite question because there has been a lot of accomplishment. In 1959, the median age of survival for a child with CF was 6 months. As of 2007, that number has been increased to 38 years. This is obviously continuing to go up due to, advances in treatments, modern medicine evolving. The biggest breakthrough happened on January 31st of 2012, when a drug called Kalydeco was approved by the FDA. Kalydeco is not a cure. You still have cystic fibrosis, and it only treats 4% of the CF population, meaning 96% of CF people are still out there waiting for the drug that will give them this boost. In people with the G55-1D mutation of CF, ages 6 and older, Kalydeco helps improve the function of a defective protein called CFTR. In people with this mutation, a defective protein moves to the right place at the surface of the cell but does not function correctly. Instead, it acts like a locked gate, preventing the proper flow of salt and fluids in and out of the cell. Kalydeco helps unlock that gate and restore the function of the CFTR protein, allowing the proper flow of salt and fluids on the surface of the lungs. This helps to thin the thick, sticky mucus caused by CF. This mucus builds up in the lungs. Kalydeco marks a breakthrough in CF treatment because it is the first drug to address the underlying cause of cystic fibrosis. All other therapies address the symptoms of the disease, not the underlying cause. So, Kaleido is a big deal. And that is about where we are with research.
What feedback have you gotten so far?
What feedback have I gotten so far? Well, I get a lot of people saying, like, how can we help? Where do we donate? You know, what is CF? All the, you know, the basic questions of people that want to know more, as well as my friends and family who are all over, you know, helping with donations and, you know, coming to events with me. My parents, on the other hand, I mean, they're very supportive, but they worry because it's a very emotionally and mentally tolling activity, I guess. But, you know, overall there's mostly positive feedback and people wanting to know how they can get involved.
What is the most rewarding part about being part of your association?
The most rewarding part about working with cystic fibrosis is, you know, obviously being there, being able to make a difference, and with the release of Kaleido, it's a giant, like, reassurance to us who, you know, go out and do all the fundraising to see, like, you know, finally, like, here's a huge breakthrough and our fundraising is, you know, it's all coming together and making this happen for people with CF. And for me, it's also much more personal than that. I've managed to surround myself with people that have CF. About 90% of my friends have CF. And, you know, I've met so many of my friends because of my work with CF. I've traveled to England, Scotland, different states, different areas just here, just to meet and, you know, visit people that have CF. And, you know, they're not just my cause, they're my friends, and I love them. So it's, you know, it's rewarding for me on a personal level as well as, you know, the whole greater good of curing the disease with fundraisers.
What would you say is the hardest part about being part of the organization?
I would have to say the most difficult part of working with cystic fibrosis is, like I mentioned, 90% of my friends have CF, which means a lot of them die. I actually stopped counting since 2005 when I started working with CF, but I can't even, I stopped counting after about 35 losses. It's at least a monthly thing, if not weekly. I find out another friend or a friend of a friend has passed away from CF, or, you know, complications of a lung transplant, or not being able to get their lung transplant in time, or, you know, a collapsed lung or pneumonia, because with CF, every cold puts you in the hospital for a minimum of 2 weeks. Like, it's a really, really difficult thing to see your friends, you know, suffering and hurting, and knowing that all that can be done is already being done, and there comes a time when that isn't enough. Even if you stick to your treatments and your exercise and, you know, you're eating enough, there's still going to come a time when you're either going to need a lung transplant or you're going to be too sick to receive a lung transplant and pass away. And it's not easy for anyone to watch, to go through, to handle, let alone someone their own age. You know, a lot of these people that I sit with and connect with and watch die are, 17, 18, 20, 23, 24. I'm 23, and, I've been watching my friends die since I was 16. And, yeah, okay, enough depressing. But, yeah, that's the most difficult part for me about working with CF. Oh, I suppose I should add the frustrations in not enough awareness out in, like, the real world. Not enough people have even heard about CF, have any idea what it is, let alone, sponsor it, support it, donate to the cause. And that is what we need. We need people to be aware, be willing to put forth $5 a month or whatever, or, one-time donation. We need donations, we need awareness, and we need a cure.
How would you like to achieve awareness?
How do I like to raise awareness? Well, as you can see, I like to go around looking like a human billboard for CF. I got the shirt, the necklace, its lungs, and it says breathe. The earrings. Here's some of the wristbands I took off. I got the generic Breathe Easy. There it is. Where is it? Cure Cystic Fibrosis wristband. I have the Cystic Fibrosis Sucks, the Air Out of Your Lungs wristband, as well as 2 Great Strides and a Donate Life. And these are for a friend who actually passed away 2 weeks ago, but it was for his transplant fundraiser. So it says Breathing Hope for Alan, and we will still continue to breathe hope for Alan because we will not stop fighting for the cure. And as far as like mainstream awareness, I've had friends have news coverage of their stories. There was a friend of mine, Ava, I don't know how to say her last name, I'm a horrible friend, who had a blog which was turned into a movie, which premieres, I think, May 15th on the Oprah Winfrey Network. It's called 65 Red Roses, which was also the name of her blog. Unfortunately, she passed away. However, the movie is a lot more uplifting, and it doesn't go into her decline after transplant. Because, again, transplant isn't a cure. But, yeah, I would like to see more, just more things in stores. You always see stuff for breast cancer, and it's mostly breast cancer. It's always breast cancer. And it's frustrating because the TV, the products out there, everything, little pink ribbon everywhere. And we're like sitting here, how about CF? How about, the CFers? We don't ask for much. We just want to be heard, and we want a cure. My friends don't like dying and being sick all the time. They want to go to prom, they want to go to parties, they want to, go out on weekends. They don't want to be sitting in hospitals. But that's what happens, and we need, more people that know what it is, more people to promote awareness in a more public setting. And, if you want to walk down the street and scream, breathe easy, cure CF, go for it. It says it on my voicemail. But yeah, really anything helps. Make a sign, put a magnet on your car type thing. Any awareness is good awareness, I guess. And that's what we're hoping for, or that's what we're fighting for.
Why is CF important to you?
Why is CF important to me? I've answered this a little bit throughout my other responses, but the backstory is, on my 16th birthday, I had a friend die of cystic fibrosis. And some genius thought it would be a good idea to call me in the middle of my Sweet 16 party and inform me, which resulted in me vacating my party and not being seen for a few hours because I was having a nervous breakdown under a tree somewhere. And I pretty much became obsessed. Like I said, I've made hundreds on hundreds of friends with CF, and, you know, I've actually been trying to cut back on it because of the emotional toll it does take. And I can't stand watching people struggle to breathe. You know, these people are 20 years old strapped to an oxygen tank, and that's not acceptable for me, you know? And it really shouldn't be acceptable for anyone, with any disease, but, you know, with CF, you're born into this, and no matter how much you comply, you take your meds, you do your treatments, you know, your lung function's gonna drop over time, and you're gonna need a transplant. You're gonna need, you know, there's nebulizers, pills, PICC lines, IVs, hospital stays, intubations, collapsed lungs, chest tubes, feeding tubes, surgeries out the wazoo. It's a giant disease, and the population that knows about it is not nearly as big. And I guess what I'm saying is, it's important to me because no one should have to sit and watch their child die. No one should have to sit and watch their sister, their brother, their friend, their cousin, their aunt, you know, anything, their neighbor. Like, you shouldn't have to watch someone die at a young age. And that hits me, and that is why working with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is important to me. This is just a little information on CF. Cystic fibrosis, or CF, or 65 roses, is a genetic disease caused by a mutation in your genes. This mutation causes an unusual thick, sticky mucus to form, build up, and clog your respiratory and digestive systems. Meaning, if, you know, you get a cold, or if someone around you has a cold, that germ is going to get in your lung and get stuck there because of that mucus. So you're not going to have a cold. You're going to be in the hospital for 2 weeks, at a minimum. You're gonna, it's miserable. It's, you cough, you do your treatments, and on top of that, there's the digestive aspect. People with CF don't absorb their fat properly. They have to take enzymes before every meal and every snack in order to fully function, as well as gain weight. Many CFers have a feeding tube that they are hooked up to at night, which goes all night feeding them so that they gain weight. In addition to that, many CFers have diabetes because, you know what, I don't really know what the connection is there, I forgot. But, you know, the diabetic aspect interferes with their need to take in up to 4,000 calories, or a minimum of 4,000 calories every day. So when you're when you're fighting between, you know, being a diabetic and needing to take in 4,000 calories, it can get a little stressful. As well as post-transplant, being a diabetic interferes with the prednisone and the anti-rejection medication, giving your blood sugar a straight shot to the moon. I'm talking 600, 700. I don't know if anyone has any idea on blood sugars or diabetes, but that's no bueno. And yeah, so basically CF will destroy your ability to breathe. No matter what you do, it's gonna hit you eventually, and it's a heinous disease, and I can't stand it. CF does suck the air out of your life. It affects lungs, digestion, and life. And not just the person who has the disease, but also their friends, family, co-workers, anyone that knows them will be affected by this disease. And I'm sorry, I'm ranting. Anyway, yeah, CF is a genetic disease, affects the lungs, digestive system, yada yada. You got it. Breathe easy, cure CF. Also, if you're interested in donating to this year's CF walk in Point Pleasant or attending, it is May 20th, I think that's a Sunday, at 11 a.m. at Jenkinson's Beach, the band shell. It's just down off the boardwalk. There's a parking lot and a big band shell and a lot of people. It's kind of hard to miss. Anyways, Bush's Team Breathe. You can go to www.cff.org/great_strides/Caitlin Bush. And, yeah, Amanda can tell you how to spell my name if you can't read it. But, yep, that's how you do it. Help me cure CF. Or I'll kick Amanda's butt.